Hi. In September of 2007, my friend Kelly was engaged to marry Steve. The only problem was Kelly had 2 cats, and Steve was extremely allergic to them. And so Kelly had to figure out what she was going to do about her 2 cats. And when we were talking about it, I could tell she was really kind of, well, to be honest, freaking out a little bit about it. Kelly and I really are best friends. As I said in a previous video, we've known each other our entire lives. And so Kelly was trying to figure out what she was going to do. And I wanted to help her out. So I was living alone in Sherburne at the time, and so I told her, you know what, if you can't find anyone to take the cats, I will. And I could sense immediately that Kelly was extremely relieved about her cats, because she loved them so much. So she brings the cats over for a trial, and I remember sort of when the cats came in the house, they were both really kind of scared because they'd never been out of her house since they were kittens, except to go to the vets. And first thing they did was they ran into the bathroom and they hid behind the toilet. Now the space between the toilet wasn't that big. Literally one was on top of the other, standing on top of the other as they were behind the toilet. Later on, they obviously got a little hungry. They needed to go to the bathroom. They eventually came out from behind the toilet. And slowly, they kind of started taking over the house, as cats will do. The thing I remember most, though, was about probably a week into having them, maybe 2 weeks, I started having second thoughts about whether this was really a good idea for me to have 2 cats. I mean, because like I said, they kind of take over, especially these 2. And I remember praying to God, saying, okay, God, just have Kelly find someone else to take the cats. This is too much. Well, clearly God didn't hear my prayer, or that's how we many times think, because obviously I still have the 2 cats, Harry and Sally. And I'm really glad that God didn't listen to me, because these 2 creatures have been great companions for me over the last 13 years almost that we've been together. They are a great source of comfort. They help to really, when I start getting agitated, they're really good at calming me down, just by the way they purr or whatever it is that they do, because, well, quite frankly, they are getting me to laugh most of the time. How often we sort of have that idea, because I really kind of thought God wasn't listening to me when I wanted the cats to be gone. The reality is, God knew what was best. He knew I really needed these 2 creatures in my life. He knew Harry and Sally ultimately would be really good for me. In reality, they have. They've been awesome, as I said. But again, how often we think we know better than God, and when what we ask for doesn't happen, we think God doesn't listen to us, or maybe even go to the point, because what we wanted to happen didn't happen, God's not there. Because if God was there, He would have listened to us. He would have done what we wanted done. But the wonderful thing about our God is He doesn't always listen, in a sense, to what we're asking for. He really truly looks to what we need. And that's what He gives us. And so sometimes God simply says, no, that's not what's good for you. That's not what's best for you. I know what is best for you. And that is what I'm going to give you. The other problem is he doesn't always do things sort of in our time frame, our timeline. But again, God knows when it's best for us to do what it is we need to do, when it's best to give us what it is that he needs to give us. Again, it just comes to trusting in the Lord. It's trusting that he truly has our best interest at heart. It may not turn out the way we think it should, but if we truly trust in the Lord, it's going to turn out the way it needs to. And that's ultimately what prayer is about. Prayer is not about getting what we want. God is not a genie. He's not granting us 3 wishes. Prayer is about opening to that conversation with God that begins to help us to grow in our relationship with him, with others, and with ourselves. Prayer is about that conversation that brings a change of heart, not to God, but to us. Because God's heart doesn't need to change. God doesn't need to be convinced. God already knows what's best. The point of our conversation with God, again, is not to convince God, but really, in a sense, to convince ourselves. God bless.